Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to jump right in and break down exactly why financial advisors urge you to build an emergency fund before you even think about investing your money, buying a house, or going after financial independence. You know, we hear so much noise every single day about chasing double-digit returns, crypto booms, or whatever the latest real estate trend happens to be. But today, we're focusing on the absolute bedrock of your financial security. Because without this, the rest of your financial life is honestly just a house of cards.
Picture this. You wake up on a random Monday morning, grab your phone, and see an email from your employer saying your position has been eliminated due to company restructuring. Literally overnight, your primary source of income just vanishes. Rent is due in 2 weeks, your car payment is coming up next Friday, and your health insurance, well, that might expire really soon. So I want you to ask yourself a tough question. Could you continue paying your bills if you didn't receive another paycheck for the next 3 months? For millions of Americans, the reality is a hard no. A single unexpected event like that can create massive financial hardship in a matter of days.
And that brings us to exactly what we're talking about today. An emergency fund is not just lazy cash sitting idly in a bank account. No, it's your ultimate financial safety net. It's what gives you that crucial breathing room during difficult times. Think of it like financial insurance, right? Just as health insurance protects you from massive medical bills, this fund protects your daily finances from unexpected challenges. It allows you to make decisions calmly instead of reacting out of sheer panic and falling into this vicious, exhausting cycle of high-interest debt that can take years to escape.
So, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to define the financial safety net, break down the famous 3 to 6 month rule, look at some real-world emergencies and their outcomes, calculate your personal magic number, discuss exactly where to keep this cash, and finally, share some awesome strategies to build your fund faster.
Okay, Section 1, the financial safety net. Let's define what this actually looks like in practice.
We really need to draw a hard line here and separate genuine emergencies from, well, everyday temptations. Your fund is for things like a sudden job loss, emergency home or car repairs, a temporary disability, or maybe urgent family travel. It is explicitly not for funding a tropical vacation, buying holiday gifts, or deciding you simply must have the newest smartphone just because yours is a tiny scratch on it. You see, without setting this strict boundary, people often end up relying on credit cards or personal loans for their actual emergencies. And sure, that solves an immediate problem, but it creates a much, much larger one through accumulating interest payments.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 3 to 6 month rule, and how you cover your basic necessities.
I know saving up months of expenses sounds daunting, but when we break it down into just the essential monthly expenses, it becomes way more manageable. Let's say your rent or mortgage is $1,800, utilities are $250, and groceries run you about $600. Add in transport, insurance, phone, internet, and minimum loan payments. That totals exactly $4,000 a month. But notice what's missing from that list. Entertainment, vacations, and dining out are nowhere to be found. Why? Because those simply aren't essentials when you're in survival mode.
So, if you do the math and multiply those $4,000 of core essentials by 6 months, you land at a target of $24,000. Now, having this exact number figured out gives you incredible power. If you were to lose your job unexpectedly, knowing you have 24 grand sitting securely in the bank gives you the ultimate luxury: time. You actually get time to search for the right career opportunity rather than being forced to accept the very first job offer simply because you desperately need the cash to survive the month.
All right, Section 3, real emergencies, real outcomes. Let's look at the life-changing impact of having this financial cushion.
Take Michael, for example. He had a brutal 35-mile daily commute when his transmission unexpectedly failed, leaving him staring at a $3,700 bill. But because he had an emergency fund, he just paid it in cash and moved on with his week. No sweat. Meanwhile, a coworker faced a similar breakdown a few months later, but had to slap it on a high-interest credit card. By the time that coworker actually paid it off, the repair cost significantly more due to compounding interest. It's the exact same emergency, but with drastically different financial outcomes.
Then we have Emily, a freelance graphic designer. When she faced an $8,000 medical emergency, her savings covered the hospital bills and replaced her lost income during one of the most stressful periods of her entire life. Even with health insurance, her deductibles, the medication, and going weeks without work piled up incredibly fast. Because freelancers obviously don't get paid sick leave, her fund was literally the only thing standing between her and expensive personal loans while she focused on recovering. And you've got to hear about Sarah, a 29-year-old marketing manager earning $85,000 a year. When her position was eliminated during an economic slowdown, she didn't panic.
Because she had a full 6-month cushion, she was able to treat her job hunt like a full-time job for 3 whole months. She networked, improved her resume, went to interviews, and you know what happened? She eventually secured a new role paying 15% more. Her emergency savings didn't just protect her finances, they actively improved her career trajectory.
Which brings us to Section 4, calculating your magic number. Let's figure out exactly how much you need.
So determining your personal magic number really comes down to your unique risk profile. There is no one-size-fits-all answer here. If you've got a highly stable government job, share expenses with a working partner, and have pretty low overhead, 3 months of expenses might be perfectly fine for you. But if you're self-employed, work on commissions, support kids on a single income, or work in a super volatile industry, you really need to aim for at least 6 months. Honestly, some financial planners even suggest up to 12 months for entrepreneurs.
Section 5, where to keep it. Now we're talking about prioritizing accessibility and safety.
Listen, your absolute priority here is accessibility and safety. We are not chasing high returns with this money. You want to park this cash in high-yield savings accounts, money market accounts, cash management accounts, or short-term CDs. The golden rule here is liquidity. You have to be able to reach this money fast when the check engine light comes on or the layoff happens. You do not want to be jumping through massive administrative hoops or paying early withdrawal penalties just to get your own money.
Now here is a massive trap you absolutely must avoid. Do not put this emergency money into volatile assets like stocks or cryptocurrency. Why? Well, because economic downturns often happen at the exact same time as job losses. Imagine losing your job during a deep recession, only to check your accounts and find that your emergency investments have also crashed by 40%. Being forced to sell investments at the bottom of the market will permanently destroy your long-term wealth. Keep this money separate and keep it boringly stable. Seriously, boring is a good thing here.
Finally, Section 6, building your fund faster. Let's get into some actionable strategies to actually reach this goal.
Look, building this fund doesn't have to be totally overwhelming if you just build a consistent habit, rather than sitting around waiting to save large chunks of cash. First, calculate those monthly essentials we discussed earlier. Second, and this is an absolute game changer, I promise, automate your transfers. Set it up so a specific amount moves from your checking to your savings the exact day you get paid. You can't spend what you don't see, right? And third, you can supercharge your progress by immediately redirecting tax refunds, work bonuses, or random cash gifts straight into this fund.
Oh, and it's absolutely critical to remember this. If you do actually have to use this money for a genuine crisis, which, hey, is exactly what it's there for, rebuilding the fund has to become your top priority once you're back on your feet. It's a bucket that needs to be refilled so it's ready for the next storm. Because, let's face it, life's uncertainties never truly stop, and your peace of mind is totally worth protecting.
To wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a final, provocative thought to consider before you make your next major financial move. Before chasing higher investment returns or trying to build a massive stock portfolio, you need to ask yourself, is your foundation truly secure? Having cash set aside gives you something that money alone cannot buy: time, confidence, and ultimate freedom. So, hope for the best, prepare for the unexpected, and let this secure foundation provide the safety that allows all of your other financial goals to truly flourish. Thanks so much for joining me today.